So, one of the things that makes Spanish different from English is the fact that sometimes words that mean the same thing between our two languages aren't always used the same way. One word I want to focus on tonight is the verb tener, which means to have. Now, if you speak English, it's very natural. It's very natural for you to go into a restaurant, for example, and look at the menu and say to the person you're eating with, "What are you going to have?" Or to say, "I'm going to have a piece of cake." Or to say, "Have you had breakfast?" Or even to ask the waitress, "Can I have a Pepsi? Can I have a cup of coffee?" Something along those lines. So, when you learn Spanish, it's going to be natural for you to want to say things like, "¿Qué vas a tener?" What are you going to have? ¿Puedo tener un vaso de leche? Can I have a glass of milk? Voy a tener un pedazo de pastel. I'm going to have a piece of cake. The problem is, none of those things sound right because we just don't use the verb tener as a verb of consumption in Spanish. Tener is a verb of possession. And so for all of those other things, we have to say it a different way. We'd have to say, well, I'm going to have a piece of cake. How about I'm going to eat a piece of cake? What are you going to eat? Instead of saying, "Can I have?" you can say, "Would you bring me?" There's all kinds of ways around it. But the problem is, if we say it wrong, as English-speaking people, at least at first, it's not going to jar on our ear the same way as it would if Spanish were a native language. Let's look at a few other examples. I'm going to have the house painted. We're going to have the clothes cleaned. We're going to have the car washed. Can't quite say it the same way in both languages. Instead, we have to say something like, I'm going to make that the house be painted. Voy a hacer que pinten la casa. I'm going to have the car cleaned. Voy a mandar el carro a que lo limpien. I'm going to send the car for it to be cleaned, etc. I think you get the idea there. So we just have to remember that just because a word seemingly means the same thing between two languages, that doesn't mean it's used the same way. And we have to watch out for those things as we acquire our Spanish skills.